Yeah? Hey. You caught me. Well, what have you got in your hand?
From a mill.
From a mill?
When he went to Poland.
Yo, a mill's the go, man. What the fuck? You got me. You got me literally right after you hit record, so we just recorded this moment. This is the intro. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh my god. They tell Emil that I cried laughing at his comment.
Oh yeah, I was there when he did it.
Yeah. Oh cool. Yeah, and tell him he's the guy. So I actually had like a whole intro thing planned with Ichabod over here.
Oh man,
sorry,
we can't do the thing anymore.
I can't use you anymore.
Just because of that whole thing?
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It just kind of happened out of nowhere. Sorry.
Alright, fair enough. Alright, fuck it. Alright, that's pretty nice though that you did.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect that. That was kind of sick.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Could I have some of the lion?
Fuck no. Blood Orange is a new album out and it's called, I'll just call it Swan. 2 years after Freetown Sound. Yeah, he's back and he's delivered that's in the frame. Sorry, that's in the frame. With this album, he has delivered a series of 16 really unapologetically just raw, insecure, powerful, and sensitive R&B songs that kind of soar through the worlds of jazz and funk and soul as well. It opens up with the song Orlando, which is a very gentle, soothing, relaxing introduction to the album. This track instrumentally features a very consistent, funky groove that I enjoy quite a lot. Some really great bass plucks on this track, some lovely electric piano chords too. Devonte's voice is really soft and passive on this song, however it's very sensitive as well, presents a very fragile character as lyrically he seems to be going through various fears and punishments he's dealt with in the past, like bullying for example is brought up on this track. And it's quite a personal start to the album, you know, it's pretty bold introduction, you know, he talks about how he feels like no one was by his side at all during this time, and I know it's a pretty beautifully hopeless start to the album, but it's not really presented in much of a harrowing or really sad way, you know, it still has like a sense of fun to it. It sees the light amongst the darkness, which is something I really like about this album a lot. It seems to really do a great job at sort of balancing more really personal, introspective moments with more kind of light-hearted, fun moments, and it really gives this album a sense of life. Take Your Time is also a great example of this, whereas Devonte on this track, he sounds really, really brittle, really emotive on this track, and I especially love the kind of low-toned, bassy drone on this song too. It just kind of gives the whole thing that much more impact and weight. They just kind of ominously lurk throughout the really barren space of this album. There's a real haunting atmosphere to this track that I like a lot. The sax too on the song did a great job at complementing Devonte's stirring and a very genuine performance, and it just made for a really memorable moment on the album. The song Hope is one of my favorites. I fucking love Hope. The piano on this song, it is so just warm and inviting. It's like when the piano just, the second it bursts through, man, it feels like 12 like fur blankets just fucking spawn in front of you. Like, it's so inviting, it's so comfortable. And P. Diddy actually has a really catchy refrain on the song, the whole like, I feel hope when you come around. And it's real kind of pretty what he's saying too. Like this feeling of hope he gets, just kind of the way he expresses it on the song, it just kind of adds to how inviting and pretty of a track this is. And his spoken word piece at the end was really poignant, how he talks about how he's afraid to fully commit to experiencing and receiving the love he truly wants. He's unsure if he's able to handle it. I thought it was a really poignant and touching way to end off the song. And Tai Shi, I think is how you pronounce it, her vocals were fucking gorgeous too. Loved her contribution. Great song. Big fan of the song Charcoal Baby as well. Really laid back and groovy track, all about just sort of finding your place in the world and trying to escape loneliness and how no one wants to feel as if there is no one by their side to support them and whatnot. Again, a very personal track lyrically. And the interlude track that comes after the song, Vulture Baby. Oh my fuck, this track is so gorgeous. Holy shit, it's so unbelievably delicate, and I just adore it, man. The piano, the tone of the piano on this song it just puts me at ease. Honestly, my first listen, I ran this interlude track back like 3-4 times. I wish it was just longer, but as an interlude for what it is, it's a really pretty little moment on the album that I really love. There are, however, a few pretty frustrating tracks on the album too. I think Chewing Gum is probably the most frustrating song here, because the first half of the song does a great job at building a really fragile character, as we're hearing lyrics from Devonte talking about sort of the people's expectations for him as a person. He seems to be in a pretty confused state on this track, just unsure of how to react to the people around him, to his current circumstances in life and shit. And it manages to build a pretty strong, very personal tone that I was really immersed in. And then there's an A$AP Rocky feature, and it ruins everything. It completely fucks up the mood of the song, and in a really uncomfortable way, because all of his lyrics are just so throwaway and trashy, like the fucking Earl Sweatshirt line. Like, come on, man. It just doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't sound right at all. And on this beat too, this instrumental sounds really vulnerable and soft. A$AP Rocky's sort of, you know, swaggery, kind of braggadocious sort of tone, just tonally, it just doesn't fit on the song. It completely messes up the mood. And the really out of place abrupt switch up that happens right after A$AP Rocky's verse is just completely obnoxious. I just didn't really get it. It's like this track just totally squandered all of the potential it was building in the first half during its second half. And it was just like for no reason. It was just really weird. Jewelry as well I found to be quite a frustrating song, even though, because this song sounded amazing. Like this track is one of the best sounding songs on this album in regards to just the production here, like the reverb notes, the fucking twinkling sort of like plucked strings and shit. Then you got the fucking horns that sound really just tender and lovely. Like there is so much to enjoy about the instrumental here. It is absolutely enchanting. However, the execution of the song, the craftsmanship of this song wasn't fulfilling to me because it just felt like it couldn't focus on one of these really great ideas. Like it had so many great ideas it was presenting, but none of them felt really fleshed out in a fulfilling way. Just the various like switch ups throughout the song just felt really, I don't know, just kind of unnatural and a bit abrupt to me. I just didn't really think this thing, it sounded great, it presented some great ideas, but it didn't really like leave a mark like I was hoping it would. Holy Will I thought was one of the weaker songs too. The intro of this track was really long-winded and a bit indulgent. The vocals on Holy Will sounded cool, but it felt like they were trying too hard or something, or going too far. Like it felt like they were just trying to cram in as many high notes and melodies as much as they could just for the sake of it, and it was just a bit distracting. The bass on this track too, the bass line is pretty heavenly. I did enjoy that, but at no point in this track did I really feel like it ever like really got going or like ever really started. It felt a bit aimless and unfulfilling, a bit of a filler track in my opinion. But there are some other highlights too in the second half. I thought Nappy Wonder was great. I wish this track was longer actually. I think it could have been developed a little bit better, but for what we did get on this track, this is a great example of a song that showcases that the album knows how to have fun as well, because there's such a sticky hook on this fucking track. One of the most catchy choruses here, and I love the really groovy instrumental as well. It's a fun track, just 2.5 minutes, it gets in, it gets out, it's a good time. And it comes right after the song Dagenham Dream, which this track is one of the most powerful songs here. It's really straightforward, the instrumentation is not that layered, it's not that detailed like some of the other cuts are. What Devonte is saying, it's pretty heavy. He's talking about his experiences being bullied growing up and how he felt like he wasn't able to be who he is. You know, he felt like he had no choice but to conform to what's considered acceptable in order to avoid being attacked by bullies at school. And it was a really powerful song. He just kind of felt like he felt like he's turning into something he's not. And the way he performed it was wonderful as well. And I like the spoken word little vocal skit at the end that sort of ties into that theme. It made for a pretty powerful point on the album, and just showcased just how this album really does feel like it has life to it, you know, which I really appreciate. I think that's what kind of brings this album from. This is what brings this album to being an R&B album that stands out as something that's not just a generic average R&B album. Like it genuinely does have like a pulse to it. Unfortunately though, I wish I could say I enjoyed this thing more than I do, because a lot of the songs here felt like a bit half-baked, especially near to the end. Runnin', this track, the song Runnin', I felt like this track, vocals are nice on this song, but just like Jewelry, I feel like it doesn't fully capitalize on any of the good ideas it has. And then you got Devonte's kind of monotone vocals, which don't really interest me. There's just nothing exciting about this song, in my opinion. With the soft acoustic guitars and the instrumental, it's just kind of an easy song to sort of tune out into the background. It doesn't really leave a mark on me, at least. The song with Steve Lacy, pretty good bass line here, of course. Steve Lacy does his thing, but I, again, found this song really sluggish, and just nothing happened on the song that really stood out as like a distinctly recognizably impressive moment on the song, and it just kind of, again, felt like a filler track. Minetta Creek was great. I wish that song was fucking longer. It's like 1 minute 50 seconds. That's such a great dude, the instrumental, the way the beat, the little jovial beat that comes in at the very end of the song was so great. I wish that could have been developed into something else, because that sounded fantastic, but unfortunately it did not. And I love the little synths that are kind of sprinkled throughout the song too. So fucking great. I thought Minetta Creek, oh man, that could have been a huge highlight had it been fleshed out further. And then you have the song Smoke, which this track, not bad, but as a finish, it's really not that satisfying. Has a really odd structure to it, this track. There's not really much of a consistent tempo or like a catchy hook or anything. And the abrupt ending too just kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. Some decent guitar playing, some decent singing, but ultimately, yeah, not really that fulfilling of a track. I think this is a good album. I would recommend listening to it. For my personal enjoyment, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Pretty strong 6, because again, the sound of this album's solid. The lyrics are personal and sensitive and vulnerable and introspective and engaging and well written and poetic at times too. It's a very nicely structured and paced album. It's solid. It's just the songs here, the individual songs, too often didn't leave much of a mark on me when I really feel like they should have done, and it was quite frustrating. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6 for that. But when this album does hit a home run, like with the song Hope, Charcoal Baby, Take Your Time, Orlando, you know, these tracks really stand out. Nappy Wonder, like there were some great highs on this thing, but and I'll add those to my playlist and shit, and that's all good. But as a whole, a 6 for me. So that's how I'm feeling about Swan by Blood Orange. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!